we'll end with some executive board updates. We actually have no committee updates this month, but it's always on my agenda. And then if anyone has any, if any of the representatives have announcements. Okay. So if you have not filled out a card, but you still have a question, you can bring it up and I'll include it into the pile. Okay, the first question is, last night the governing board voted to put the M&O override on the November ballot. What is the M&O override and why do we need it?
So the M&O override is a maintenance and operating override. Scottsdale's had this in place for a very long period of time. It's good for 7 years, and then after 7 years, if it's not reauthorized, it begins to be reduced by a third each year until it disappears. There have been times in Scottsdale's history where the M&O override didn't pass, most notably in, I think, 2013, where we lost 1,100 students, ended full-day kindergarten, didn't have art, music, other electives in the elementary. So it was pretty catastrophic in terms of the reduction of funding, its impact on opportunities for students, and then the loss of students as a result. So the question in front of the governing board yesterday was, do we put it on the ballot early, or do we just put it on the 2024 ballot, the final year before you start having the mandatory reduction in funds? And the decision was made to go a year early. That's not uncommon. Many, many districts do it. We've been looking at the historical data. The reason why districts go early is if it didn't pass, we'd still have another opportunity to put it on the 2024 ballot before you'd have that reduction of $7.3 million in funds. So that's the reason. It's used for, and I'm going to try to remember everything on the PowerPoint slide, but to maintain class sizes, provide full-day kindergarten, provides a small amount of support for some computer tech staff, but it's like $400,000, I think Shannon said, and then provides for competitive compensation. So it generates about $22 million a year. It's a continuation, so it's not a tax increase for our taxpayers. And so now that the governing board approved putting it on the ballot, we have to finalize the ballot language, work with our community to help people understand. I expect there'll be some confusion. Didn't we just vote on an override in the last election? Now, that was my angst about this, because we did, but it was the capital override versus the maintenance and operating. So capital are things, maintenance and operating are people. So that's the heartbeat of the organization. And hopefully we'll be able to generate enough support and get ample information out to our community.
Okay, this is another money question. What is the impact of the recently passed legislative budget on SUSD and on public education?
So not surprisingly, we're seeing the 2% increase that's required by statute. The change in the budget is the governor had proposed eliminating results-based funding, or RBF, and that was approved, and that money got rolled into the base. So the increase to the base foundation is now 2.92%. For us, that increase represents about $1.6 million before the weighted formula. Our results-based funding, however, was $2.3 million. So we are going to, at best, be awash with the elimination of results-based funding. But the fact that that money was rolled into the base means that it will be sustainable over time, whereas results-based funding could be variable depending on outcomes. So at the end of the day, it's not a bad budget. There's a significant amount of one-time funding. And so that's a nice thing, except for you really can't use one-time funding to increase compensation for staff because you don't have the ability to sustain it over time. So part of our work will be identifying what's the best use of that one-time funding. And as Shannon Crozier mentioned at the governing board meeting last night, we have a couple of, we'll call financial cliffs on the horizon. One is the end of Prop 123 in 2025, special legislative provision, and that's about $1.3 million in our budget. And then the spend down of the ESSER funding. So the overall ESSER funding was pretty significant infusion of cash. That'll be done in 24, 25 as well. So those are things we're planning for. At the end of the day, we're in a solid place financially, and that's a testament to the support of our community. Not every community has the same level of support, and what we need to do is continue to grow ADM, because that's the economic engine that really is the core funding for the district. Average daily membership, number of kids that we have.
Okay. What is included in the firearm safety instruction that SUSD is offering, and when is this taking place?
Oh, good question. So, pursuant to board policy IHAMD, I think, we have a requirement to offer age-appropriate firearm safety training, and it's not how to use a weapon, how to fire a weapon. This is really simple and basic. So the video that we've created this year is it uses an old McGruff video. Anybody seen the McGruff the dog safety videos? So Josh Friedman will have an intro and an exit associated with that. It's a reminder to our students that guns aren't toys, that weapons can be dangerous. They're not appropriate to bring to school. If you see something, say something. So reinforcing those core messages, but it's part of that commitment that the governing board made to raise awareness about the dangers of weapons and the inappropriateness of weapons on campus, particularly guns. That's coupled with the safe storage of firearms in that language, but it really isn't anything more than that. So it's 3 to 4 minutes of a video, and for the parents who opt in, the kids will be given an opportunity to view that. We'll also get some feedback. We had been working with, because the requirement in the policy is that the training's provided either by an SRO or retired law enforcement. Josh is retired law enforcement. We've been working with the police department, but a month and a half ago, we found out we weren't going to be able to work with them to deliver the training directly, and so we had to pivot. We'll be in a different position next year to do this earlier, so it won't be at the very end of the year.
When is it going to be since school?
Okay.
Next week.
Training is next week.
Yeah, so depending on who's coming in and out and how many, depending on how many students have signed up for it, it's literally 3 to 4 minutes. So it doesn't take a lot of time. And then we're going to learn from, what the reaction is. We think for the kids, I mean, the McGruff video was fine. I'm not so sure about how high school students will respond, but I'd like to challenge them to give us some ideas about what might be something that would resonate with them. So it'll be an opportunity for us to learn, and I'm not sure how many families have turned in permission slips. I know of 1 or 2 staff members who've done it for their kids, but I don't know about outside of that.
Okay, what are the top 3 reasons that you have found that you guys retain teachers?
It's a good question, and it would be pure speculation on my part without going back to Alexis and saying what kind of survey information do we have related to what causes people to stay. Generally, people will stay in a district when they feel valued and appreciated. Compensation is important, but it's not the #1 criteria for staying. Being a part of a team, feeling appreciated and valued for what you contribute, but compensation's part of it. The third, I'd have to think about what's that other element. We know that we have a fair number of what I'll call boomerang employees. We actually have a little boomerang pin. So we have people who worked here, left to find greener pastures, and then they come back because there is something special about being a part of the SUSD family. And so they've done that as well. So it's a combination of those factors.
Okay, many of our social workers were hired with a grant. It's my understanding that the grant is expiring. How can we maintain this critical asset and serve our students?
Well, the good news is the grant expired, but we were awarded a new 3-year grant for 23 social workers. We had identified funding for 10 after the grant expired. So we have the ability to retain the social workers that we had previously. We still are waiting for information from the department on 5 outstanding grant requests for social workers. We're hopeful that that will come through. So a new 3-year grant, opportunity for social workers on our campuses to continue providing support for our students.
Do you find that there are a lot of social workers available for hire, or is there a shortage of that?
So there has been a shortage. We struggled to fill all of the positions when we were able to go to scale initially. There were probably 2 or 3 that we struggled with. Not all social workers have the credentials for working in schools, and so some of that's been a challenge. It's not the same as like trying to find a special education teacher, which is really hard to do. But there's not a surplus like in some other areas, and so retaining the social workers that we had was really important. So getting the notice of the grant award within a week or a week and a half of the board action to non-renew because of the grant elimination was a positive thing, so we could immediately turn around and offer contracts.
Okay, does anyone else have any questions? Because this will be our final one. Okay. What will be the primary focus for the district next academic year?
So our focus will continue to implement the strategic plan that the governing board approved, and our theme is really going to focus. It'll say because kids. This is about students and their success, and understanding where they are on the academic journey. So we'll have an opportunity. The state test results will be coming in before the end of the month, and so we'll have an opportunity to look at how our kids performed. Where they did well, where they need support. And then identifying how we build systems of support, multi-tiered systems of support, both on the academic and behavioral side to ensure students are prepared for success. We've got teams that are working on it across all age levels. I'm concerned when I see some student data, lack of engagement at middle school and high school. Those are concerns for me. So trying to figure out how do we create learning environments that are compelling so that students see the relevance of what they're learning. They want to be at school. Generally, they feel safe at school, but that can sometimes be questionable. We've got some work to do on cell phone policy, for example. There are a lot of distractions. We need to remove some of those distractions and figure out how we keep the focus on the main thing, provides support for students where they are in their learning so that they can be successful academically and developmentally as they move through the system.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, one more.
I know, I didn't write it down. One last question. It was wonderful to be at the Be Kind event that Margaret Cerna was one of the two top awardees and spent some time with the executive board from the Be Kind program. SUSD has the possibility to be the first district in the state to be fully integrated with the Be Kind philosophy. I think that 20 schools have already adopted it. We have a few remaining ones, as well as having the commitment from the district to be able to implement these things. Is that something that the district's working on, or is that something that we can help with to promote this program?
Thank you. So how many are familiar with Be Kind? All right. So it's actually the owner and founder is a Scottsdale resident. They have 10 guiding principles. It's really hard to object to anything within the Be Kind principles. It's fantastic. They do assemblies. They do provide instructional support materials for age appropriate. They really focus K-8. They really haven't done anything in high schools yet. We have a number of schools that have done the assemblies, others that have become Be Kind schools and are intentional every month to build on those values. We've had some that have brought Be Kind in, and people weren't necessarily excited about the way the assembly was done, and so we've kind of hit or miss there. We've not mandated that schools do it, and so we're doing this by invitation. And we'll, for any school that has a challenge with getting the up to $5,000 fee to become a Be Kind school, we'll help find the money for them. Many have PTOs where they can cover that easily, and some don't. So any school that wants to participate will eliminate the barrier to participation. We're talking with them about could we create a high school pilot project that's age appropriate and engages students there. They also do some things for adults. In our current environment, it's probably not a bad reminder to be kind, adults and kids. How we treat people matters. And so I think that there's no objection to the philosophy. Some concern about imposing it on a school without the buy-in necessary from the staff, the students, and the parents. But I think the program sells itself, and the testimonials from colleague to colleague will help build the momentum for that. And so we're working on it. We had a discussion with our extended cabinet yesterday on this very topic, and excited to see who else jumps on board next year. So when you adopt the pledge, they have 10 months of activities and curricular support. And so in addition to the assembly, because the assembly is, one time get kids excited and then move on, there are intentional areas of focus every month that you can revisit. So, for example, Veronica Leoper at Sequoia said they've become a Be Kind school. They won't ever go back now because of the positive impact it's had on their campus. And so if she was here, she could provide some more specifics about how they've integrated that into their philosophy and approach, but it's resonated with both their students and their staff. Laura. I believe so, but would have to confirm with Shannon.
They're also expanding with a big cybersecurity aspect to be able to teach kids more with cybersecurity, and I'm trying to link them with the group at Saguaro that's doing that as well. It would be nice to maybe have the district adopt it from a board standpoint. If we've got all board members, it will, bring it throughout the district if they make that pledge as far as being in the Be Kind program.
Right. So I appreciate the suggestion, and we are working on it.
Thank you.
Anything else? Thank you all for being here and for your support of our schools and our students. The next 5.5 days are going to be intense, but the Arcadia Senior Prank required 20 people to show up this morning to clean up the campus. But so here's the thing. It wasn't for sale. So, and it wasn't chickens like last year. So the toilet paper, the first pictures, well, that's not much. But then it was the opened can of beans that were dumped everywhere, and the baby powder that was thrown on things. But our facilities crew were amazing, and somebody accidentally left behind a receipt for purchase of the beans. So we will be doing our investigation and looking at the cameras and find out who needs to help us with future cleanup assignments. Yep, exactly.
Thank you, Dr. Menzel. Okay, time for the main event. Okay, we have successes and highlights from every school in Scottsdale Unified, all 30 of them. And up first is Navajo. Is anyone here? No? Okay. All right, so Navajo worked with the Saguaro football team, the Saguaro football team read with the students. They marched in the Parada del Sol parade. Dad's Club had a cornhole tournament. That's the middle picture. They had a readathon, and they met their goal of over 12,000. Fourth graders hiked South Mountain. I think that's them on the right at the top. They had a talent show, spring fine arts night, and they have a mobile STEM lab. They had a Valentine's Day social and silent auction, STEAM showcase. That's the second picture on the left. Students grew some good-looking kale in the garden. The Charos Outstanding Educator, they had support from the Charos for Outstanding Educator and support staff. They had teacher celebration and appreciation efforts. They had a blood drive, and fifth grade. Oh, I saw pictures of that. Okay, so Tantazona. Does anyone know how to pronounce that? It's like a activity trust camp. So the fifth graders went to Tantazona, and they had a successful book fair. Is Desert Mountain? You here? Do you want to come present? Okay. All right, DM, the accomplishments for this year. So is this your slogan, the pack? You should come to it.
Did the softball team have anything?
I have not received that update. You'll see that. I don't know if we can click. Okay. So if you go back, that is really our slogan, personal best, act responsibly, choose compassion, and just really keep learning first. That's our motto. As far as our academic accolades, you'll see there was a Coca-Cola scholar, and a student was awarded that. And then also there was an international accolade. A student scored in the 99th percentile for DECA, and most of the teams received recognition, and there were about 22,000 students at the event in Florida. Our choir performed at Carnegie Hall. I really wanted to highlight that a lot because that's my passion too, but 54 seals you could see there. 20 total arts. That was one with band. orchestra, choir, and visual arts, dance, and theater. The robotics team won at the ASU Epics Engineering, and they also won an award with innovation. There was all-state choir, band, and orchestra, and then you can see there was a nomination for Best Musical in the state, which was Pippin. We had several athletic achievements you'll see here. I've also included some of our national commitments, individuals as well, and where they're attending. State champs included the girls swimming team, boys and girls tennis, and softball. This was made prior, obviously. Regional champs in football, boys basketball made it to the semifinals as well.
Okay, Sequoia. I don't think anyone's here. Okay, so Sequoia had yet another amazing turnout for their annual art walk, and the picture on, those are the two pictures on the left. The picture on the right is they made panda bubbles, which looks really fun because that child is inside a bubble. And then they put on a production of Grease, which was mentioned at the governing board meeting last night. Apparently the car was amazing. Pima? Is anyone here from Pima? No? Okay. All right, so Pima is no longer a traditional school. They're an elementary school now, so that's their new name, Pima Elementary School. They've had great growth on math and ELA measured by FastBridge. They have a whole slew of family events and activities from Halloween, Turkey Trot, National Parks Reading Night, monthly flag ceremonies. They've been on field trips. They have a monthly PBIS store and PBIS point contest, Word of the Week, Math Fact Fluency, Beyond the Bell, 4th grade wax museum, and Here on Time contests. And then here are some of their pictures celebrating the year. Okay, Pueblo. No one's here from Pueblo? Okay. All right, so Pueblo, they're moving into their new building in July. Principal Humman wanted to highlight that they have a very active PTO and parent community who do amazing things for teachers, kids, and the whole community at large. She also wanted to highlight that their students excel every day in Spanish and English, and they're very proud of them. She won the National Distinguished Principal Award from the NAESP, and she is the one and only Arizona winner. And then she also wanted to highlight that they're enrolling, and you can join Pueblo. So I don't know if you can see the picture up top. Everybody is holding a picture of her face in front of their own, which I thought was a fun way to celebrate. Okay, up next is Ingleside. I got pretty much a four-page single-spaced list of accomplishments from Ingleside, so I'm going to whittle it down. The top left is, so Ingleside this year became a No Place for Hate school, and that's been going really well. It's really fun. The middle picture on the left is a school dance that they had. So this is the first school dance they've had since before the pandemic. As a parent, I have to say this one was incredibly humbling because the theme was 90s, and all of the kids were like shocked to dress like we did in high school. So they had a great time, but all the parents were a little shell-shocked. Field trips resumed, and every grade level took a field trip. So the bottom left picture is them, I think, at the Sonoran Mountain Preserve. The center picture is a raucous student assembly that was a staff versus students basketball game. And it was really intense, and there was a lot of discussion in the week leading up to it prior. They had a lot of athletic success, so they're showing the volleyball team and the basketball team there. And then the bottom right picture is the band playing an outdoor concert at Ingleside's Fine Arts Night. And the top picture is the student spelling bee. The middle picture is Ingleside's glow run. So they have a community fun run in February in the dark, and everybody wears glow sticks and all that stuff, and they set off fireworks before that run. The choir in the bottom left, they traveled to California this year. They performed at Cal State Fullerton, and they both received and at both of those performances, they received higher marks and silver ratings in their categories. The center picture is all of Ingleside's amazing staff. The upper right picture is the Charos Teacher of the Year and I'm totally blanking on her name. Oh, Christina Claspy won the Outstanding Teacher of the Year. Middle picture is the robotics team, and then the bottom right is the Ingleside National Junior Honor Society students, and they did a ton of service hours this year, both on campus and out in the community. Okay, Tonalea. Tonalea is just middle school this year. And the picture on the left is from a Fun Friday, and they had Kona Ice come, and it was to celebrate students being on time to their classes, excelling in the classroom, and then exhibiting the RISE behaviors, which are their positive behaviors. And then they had students who represented Tonalea and AVID at the November 1st governing board meeting. And I'm not going to try to pronounce Jacob's last name, but Jacob M. advanced to the regional spelling bee from Tonalea, and the Tonalea cheer team marched in the Parada del Sol parade. Okay, Echo Canyon. Oh, okay. Echo Canyon had an A rating from the Arizona Department of Education for the first time. They had a high fidelity way to go, Echo Canyon, they're clapping if you can't hear it on the live stream. Okay, a high fidelity implementation rating for their PBIS program. Their student, Emily Avalos, led the Pledge of Allegiance at the governor's inauguration for creating the winning artwork, which was titled Arizona for Everyone. Their student, Oscar Atunez, won second place in the One SUSD Spanish Spelling Bee. The Roar Robots robotic team, under the direction of Kay King, won first place at their regional tournament and competed in the state competition. And then they wanted to add, we continue our phenomenal quarterly Exploration Friday event where members from the community share their talents with our students during hour-long workshops, including a variety of workshops like taiko drumming, pet therapy, knitting, team building, meditation, salsa making, identifying wildlife poop, just to name a few.
I'm Laura Wiesoff, here to talk about Desert Canyon Elementary School. On the top left, you can see some art from our Lunar New Year celebration. We also started the Be Kind program, and that was successful. We're a Be Kind school, I believe, and next year we're gonna do it again. And then I think we see a Roar assembly, a lot of good spirit wear this year. And we have Art Masterpiece. We have a wonderful garden, and then every year we do a veterans assembly that's really meaningful, and we invite veterans, our family's veterans, to come. And then the bottom one is our fundraiser. We do the Amazing Race, and we put it on all by ourselves.
Okay, Chaparral. Is anyone here can speak for Chaparral? No? Okay. All right, so Chaparral is celebrating 50 years. Their Sparrow Club in the first 2 months completed over 480 hours of community service to raise money for a child in medical need. Their girls and boys swim and dive teams were state champions. Their girls soccer are state champions. Freshman football had an undefeated season. Science Olympiad was 4th in state. Their robotics team qualified for the world competition. They had two students with perfect ACT scores. Performing arts groups received superior ratings, and acting production technical nominations for Gamage Awards. And dozens of students are receiving the Seal of Biliteracy or the Fine Arts Seal. And then they wanted to add, we are so proud of these amazing students and many others for their accomplishments this year. They are what make us Chaparral proud. Okay, Mojave. Is that copper up top?
I go to the podiatrist after this today, so hopefully it's coming off soon. Hi, I'm Karen Gifford. I'm with Mojave Middle School, and we had a really good end to our year, and a lot of really good things happened throughout the year too. And probably my biggest celebration for Mojave is we have a new principal coming in the fall, and he's going to be pretty spectacular. It sounds like a known quantity. And I actually heard that somebody reached out to him to encourage him to apply, kind of thing, you know. And he had been at Coronado for 6 years and really experienced educator. I've heard great things. I think he'll do an outstanding job there with Kristen. And Kristen wanted to stay in the AP role, so I'm really glad for that too. She's done a great job this spring. One thing that's not pictured is the science fair, but that's something that they did ask me to mention. We were the only middle school in the district that participates, and they had 2 groups attend the state level finals, then represented us well. So that's exciting. And then athletics, some of which are pictured, continues to be strong. We have over 600 participants. Now, many of those are counted once or twice or 3 times because they're playing multiple sports, but still really good programs, good involvement, good participation. And let's see, therapy dogs. One of them is pictured, Brody and Copper. Laura, do you know which one that is or not? Well, Copper got a haircut. I think that is Brody, yeah, because Copper did get a haircut the other day. Yeah, yeah, I know. Summer due, probably. And let's see, Fine Arts Award. Well, first of all, the DLI program, CGP and SCA, and I forgot to ask them, is that self-contained autism? Is that what that is? I meant to ask, I apologize, but I believe it's, I know there is an autism program there, so I'm pretty sure that's probably what it is. And then our STEM robotics program carries on without Bert, who was the teacher who did it there for years, but it's still going strong. We have a great mentor group from Saguaro that comes in and helps our kids, and really fantastic. Next slide. And just wanted to mention a couple other things that are listed there on the previous slide. The Music in the Parks is our Disneyland trip that we compete through a Disney program with our choir director, orchestra director, and band director. And these educators were so excited. 2 of the 3 of them were going for the first time. One is a first-year teacher, and the other was new to middle school this year. And then the orchestra teacher had done it many, many times. So we were in very good hands, and they were all so excited to go. It was the first time they've gone in 3 years because they didn't get to do it last year. And it was an awesome experience. I was able to go as a chaperone, and the kids had such a blast. And they all won. If you read the slide, the band and orchestra won first place, and the choir won second. And the other thing that we've done this year at Mojave that was really nice was the PTO, and also people that weren't members of the PTO necessarily, but were helping the PTO. Because those people were the ones who really did most of the work, I think, volunteered to refurbish a teacher lounge for our staff, and it is incredible. I mean, the pictures don't even do it justice, and all or most of that is donated items from families or thrift items from families who donated money, and people went thrift shopping. We got special permission from the district to paint that wall teal. And they would only let us paint one wall. Nobody knows why. And I don't think they wanted to paint the whole thing teal. I think the teal was going to be an accent wall. But yeah, so Mojave's on a good path, and really happy about that.
Okay, Cochise? No? Okay. Cochise had a creative arts festival that was a huge success. Those are the 2 pictures on the left. The middle picture is Author's Day. It was a special achievement with students sharing their writing with the community. Top right, they celebrated our veterans with a car parade. And then the bottom right is students participated in the Junior Hero Project and did over 135 hours of community service. Top left pictures are growing and planting in the school garden. Bottom left is they love our SROs and fun visits with the police dog. And I wonder if that's captain, I can't tell. Middle picture is a surprise visit from the Phoenix Suns gorilla who brought playoff tickets for 6 lucky teachers. And top right is their chorus and band and string concerts were amazing. And bottom right is Jingle Jog is always a fun event for all. Okay, Hopi. The Hopi garden thrived. Students planted, nurtured, harvested, and tried new ways to eat the delicious vegetables that the garden produced. The bottom left is their bingo night, and tickets for bingo went fast, and the kids had a blast. The Hopi Veterans Day Assembly was a reverent tribute to America's veterans. Parents, students, staff, and veterans came together to make it a truly memorable event. And then the bottom right pictures are the Hopi Hullabaloo. It was a hit, like it is every year. Students and their families enjoyed bouncing around and seeing classmates outside of school. Their community came together around their love of books with the annual used book fair. Hopi students got moving together on the walk to school day. Even the Hopi Hawk came along for the fun. Hopi really got into the spirit on Western Day. The students performed traditional square dances, a lot of them in era-appropriate attire. And Hopi fifth graders designed, built, and launched rockets as part of the STEM curriculum. Okay, Arcadia. Arcadia's highlights include the Agora, which is a really cool fine arts night that is the entire, that has works of art from the entire Arcadia Learning Complex. So Tavon, Hopi, Echo Canyon, Ingleside, and Arcadia artists all have work showing there. The picture in the center is the CMAS band. So this is a student, like those are students who are performing, but then all of the other behind the scenes stuff, speakers, mixing, sound mixing, all that is all student led through the CMAS program. And it's a really fun night. Like you can go kind of hang out, get your face painted, draw on the sidewalk, eat food, and look at art. Arcadia is also going to offer Camp Cadia again this year. This is happens either in late July or early August, depending on when the first day of school is. It's an orientation for incoming freshmen that is led by Arcadia's students, including the student government. Incoming freshmen get to meet current high school students, and then they also get to attend kind of workshops and fairs that let them know what kind of extracurricular opportunities there are, clubs, sports, you name it. And they get a t-shirt that they can wear at the beginning of school. The Arcadia Marching Band is pretty amazing. It's called the Spirit of Arcadia, and they won state champions for the 9th year in a row. They have Arcadia Junior Gabriella Nakai has been highlighted at least more than once, I think, at governing board meetings. And this year she traveled to Washington, D.C., where she attended a forum at the White House, and then she also moderated a USDA panel. Senior Sebastian Brock was highlighted at the governing board meeting last night because he's a National Merit finalist. And then this is probably what everyone is most excited about, but next year Arcadia will be becoming an AVID school. And some of the other, I forget which ones in the learning community, but some of the other schools in the Arcadia learning community will also become AVID schools. Kokopah? Is anyone here from Kokopah? Because I don't have a cheat sheet for this school. Are you? Can you talk about this, Sarah?
I don't know what happened to the words that were on there. So Kokopah, so the Junior Honor Society did a lot of community service out in the community. And at school this year, the Kokopah was fun. They did a couple of Suns nights for the school where a whole bunch of kids were able to go to the Suns game together. The 8th graders went to Washington, D.C., and they ended up taking 70 8th graders on the trip, which was the most ever, and they all had an amazing time. And then we did a production of The Little Mermaid as the school play, which was a big hit with everybody. Next slide. I think there's one more slide. Oh.
Is anyone here from Desert Canyon? No? Okay. All right, Desert Canyon, 7th grade went to iFly to learn about aerodynamics, which was also a STEM application. I wonder if that's a student. Oh yeah, they also got to skydive. Band, strings, and choir performed at Universal Studios. pretty cool. Cheyenne?
So it was a really special year for Cheyenne this year. It was our 25th anniversary, founded in 1997. So that's all the students on the field to take that photo. That was right after our inaugural Veterans Day event, where we honored 30 veterans that were members of the family of the students. And that was a beautiful day. It was a wonderful picture. And so we celebrated this year we had a big casino night fundraiser and, special T-shirts. And so all throughout the year, we've had different ways to honor that anniversary. And the biggest news this year is that our beloved Principal Stombres is retiring after 9 years as principal. And last night at the governing board, Alicia Kellum, who's the current vice principal at Desert Mountain, will be our new principal starting in the fall. So thank you.
Okay, Mountainside Middle School. All right, I have a cheat sheet for this. Okay, they have a new vision supported by $30,000 in grant funding and and there's a design lab overhaul. The Science Olympiad returned this year. Their, quote, small but mighty team rocked state and gave us an awesome foundation for the next few years. They had new STEM units developed that include drones, robotics, and manufacturing. They have a robotics club. They created and improved the community garden. School-wide International Baccalaureate, isn't MYP, Middle Years Program, Interdisciplinary Unit on Sustainability. They won the Hamilton Education Program online national competition. They raised over $4,000 for the American Heart Association. The girls' varsity softball and basketball had undefeated records. There was by unanimous staff vote to nominate their teacher, Heidi Glendhill, for the Charos Educator of the Year. They had a hugely successful collaboration between parents and student for the IB MYP Community Project Fair. They had a Monster Bash and Let's Glow Crazy record attendance and school spirit events. And then they earned a place back on the results-based funding list due to high test scores. Okay, Anasazi, is anyone here? Yeah.
All right. So it's been a wonderful 6 years for our family at Anasazi. Miss Waldron's been there for 5. 2 years ago, she was the principal of the year. So a lot of great things happening at Anasazi, but the biggest one here, we are now accredited for the International Baccalaureate Primary Years Program, which just flows nicely right into Mountainside, the prior screen, all the way up to Desert Mountain. So very active school, very much involved PTO. There we go. And we've had a great 6 years there, and our daughter's off to Mountainside, and our son will be there for 2 more years. Miss Moore was the Charos Teacher of the Year. She's the art teacher. It's been a great school for us, and it will be for you too. Thanks.
Okay, this is Hohokam, and they are the Falcons. Or no, sorry, this is Tavon. Sorry, Tavon Wildcats. Hohokam is also green. All right, so Tavon is currently undergoing a rebuild. Construction is finishing up, and their families over the holidays, like Thanksgiving and Christmas time, collectively Tavon families donated 1.25 tons of food for people who need it. This year, their students learned about the skeletal system in PE, so they're all holding paper skeletons in front of themselves. And earlier this year, they had a series of school spirit days that were color. You had to wear specific colors, and it was to help their kindergartners learn their colors. So the whole school participated in those spirit days to help their kindergartners learn colors. Okay, this I think is Laguna. I have notes if you need them.
I'm editing them down. Hi, I'm from Laguna. We are one of only a few schools who are STEM certified in Arizona. We have an art room, a science lab, and a state-of-the-art makerspace room on campus for the entire school to enjoy. All of our students enjoy specials on a rotating basis, including art, PE, music, orchestra, band, and then next year we are getting a STEM elective for our upper grades. They're going to be working on coding. We have a preschool on campus, and next year that will include a TWOS program. We also had a mobile STEM lab visit this year for our entire school. Our 5th graders returned to Tonto, the STEAM sleepaway camp for a week. Our PTO raised over $100,000 with our Laguna Laps Color Run, which pays for aids and school programs and updates. The Laguna Float placed first in the Charos Prada del Sol parade. We had our first international fair for cultural awareness, and a school-wide hands-on STEAM fair, including community partners. We have numerous clubs on campus, including Drama Club, Media Club, Baking Club, Makerspace, Robotics, free tutoring, student government, Legos, manners, and more. What? Yes, we have our performance of Annie tonight at 6 o'clock at Laguna, if you have any Annie fans. For next year, yeah.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Mancini, and I'm representing Cherokee this morning. So this was our big, huge thing that happened this year, and may not happen again for another 20 years or so. So we celebrated all year long. We got the Blue Ribbon Award, and we just we tried to celebrate as much as we could. So I listed all of the things that we did, but we were at the school board meeting. The mayor of Paradise Valley gave us a proclamation at a town hall meeting. Our principal and Dr. Menzel went to Washington, D.C. to accept the award. We've got signage all over our school. Our staff have staff T-shirts now that are blue, celebrating our blue ribbon. So this was just an ongoing celebration. The bottom right picture, I just want to share that my kids got to be in that because I was on the APT, so that was one of those things where I'm like, oh, I'm doing this for a reason. My kids get to be involved in stuff like this. So that was our big thing. And then I just put in some other highlights this year to share with you all. We do a fall social event at the beginning of the year. That's that upper left picture with the balloons. That's only for adults, and it's just for us to get to know each other and socialize. We did a holiday auction this year. That's the top right picture. That's when we do all of our class baskets and we auction those off, and we do it so people can shop for their kids during the holidays. It's been really successful the last couple years. We brought a new speaker series program to the school. That's through Katie McPherson, and we heard about her through Cochise Elementary, so we started doing them at Cherokee. I think we did 4 or 5 of the events this year. They were incredibly popular. We brought candy monsters to our school, so we do trunk or treat. That's our big fall event for the kids, and it is crazy. The parents go all out decorating their trunks. But this year we took a couple garbage cans, large garbage cans, and there's a female up there, and we have a boy version of it too. But they collected candy, and it was really cute. We also had a focus this year on how we can give back to our community more, because we raise so much money for our school and we focus so much on fundraising and putting programs at our school, but we're like, how do we give back to the community? So we started a blood drive. So the Vitalent blood truck came out twice this year. We're gonna continue doing that, and that's open to anyone in the community. In the middle picture, he went sideways, but that's our principal on the wall with red and black tape all over him. So that was a PBIS reward. There was a first grade class that got to tape him to a wall, and they were chanting, "Get him good, get him good." So now I'm like, we need to use this as a fundraiser. you know, and have every kid pay $25 or something to get a few pieces of tape. But it was really fun to watch that. We had Buddy the Elf on campus, so that picture also went sideways too, I'm sorry. But you can see our new assistant principal on the building there under our blue ribbon signage. So he was up there on the Friday before winter break, and it was really special. And he's new to our school too. We got him from Cochise. He was a third grade teacher at Cochise. So he's been amazing. We supported a preschool teacher. We have a threes program at Cherokee, and Joy Lopez was diagnosed with breast cancer at the beginning of the year. So on her last day of chemo, we did a pink out at the school and decorated the school in all pink. And then we ended our year with another spring gala. That's the biggest fundraiser of the year. And I think in total, Cherokee netted like $425,000 this year. So we do really well with our fundraising. And then the last thing is we installed new shade structures for our kids. So that's been like probably the biggest thing that we've been raising funds for, is to get more shade on campus. Even though we have a brand new school, we don't have a lot of shade. So that's it.
Okay, this is Copper Ridge. Is Copper Ridge here? Okay, Copper Ridge sent me 8 packed slides, and I asked them to condense down to 2. So they had a wonderful year. This slide includes pictures from their Washington, D.C. trip. They went to Catalina Island. They went to USC. They have a National Junior Honor Society. They went on a biz trip. They had a carnival, a book fair, a sock, and a bike drive. They had family reading night, Candyland dance, spelling bee, recycled art fashion show, an Apex fun run, art and garden, and then they also had pictures of their National Junior Honor Society induction. Okay, this is Coronado. Coronado wanted to highlight Mr. Rivera and Mr. Keller, who were awarded ABC Family's Silver Apple Award. Their very own Kevin Torres was recognized as one of the Charos Outstanding Teachers for 2023. Jacqueline Giles Chinguindo and I need better glasses. Oh, there we go. Nolan Eifler were recognized as Charos Outstanding Scottsdale students for 2023. Shay St. Clair was awarded the Charos Future Teacher Scholarship. She plans to pursue a degree in education and return to Coronado High School to give back as an English teacher. Okay, so Coronado was #1 in the state and 6th in the nation, their JAG program. Congratulations to the Coronado High School JAG program for placing 6th in the nation for PBL at the National CDC after being awarded the Arizona Program of the Year. And then they also wanted to congratulate their 2023 Coronado Promise Scholarship recipients. They had 42 scholarships that were awarded this year.
I'm nosy. I just want to say that we serve on the Coronado Promise Scholarship. In 2019, we gave 4 scholarships. Then we started moving through the pandemic. The year before, we gave 25 scholarships. This year, we gave 42 scholarships. And each scholarship is worth $5,000. So that's over $100,000 worth of scholarship monies that's going out. And we're going to continue to build on the Coronado Promise. And in the future, we'd like to make it the Scottsdale Promise for all our high schools. So if you know any really great benefactors, let us know. They get 2,000 that really, they get 2,500 a year, and usually they use it for their sophomore and junior, freshman and sophomore year. And also it can be used for career. We have some that are going to welding school, some of them that are going to Paradise Valley to the firefighters. We have policemen, we have teachers. I mean, guys, it's amazing. But if you see them right there at the bottom, each one of them receives, it's like a baseball shirt that says, I'm a Coronado scholar, a Promise Scholar. And then they also get what do you call those things? The ropes? The stole, and then it was so, sorry I'm taking so much time, but it was so cool. You should see they had them all lined up in on tables with their parents standing in back of them, just like when they sign for an athletics scholarship or something like that. It's pretty moving. And I'd say, don't quote me on this, but I'd say over 80% of them are first-time college bound in their families. The way it was funded this year, the Coronado Foundation, which is a group of Coronado graduates, did it. And board member Patty Beckman and I started it back in 1819, and it just continued to grow. Did I say 1819? Okay, when was that? 2019. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Okay. Back in 1900. That's how old I am. Okay, but anyway, so Patty Beckman did an article on The Independent, and this man that is a graduate from Coronado picked up on it, called and said he'd give $1 million. So what he did is he gave us $1 million, which comes out to, I don't know, like the 100,000 or whatever for 20, no, like whatever, you guys know the math. Okay, so anyway, but he says we have to, 50,000. He said we have to match it. So who comes in? The Charos. And then other benefactors. So that's about $100,000 a year, but it's gonna grow, grow, grow. So anyway, we're trying to grow our Coronado complex, and we have quite a few kids that want to come there. That's $5,000 is a pretty good chunk of money to go towards school.
Oh, and Coronado Orchestra also went to the Big Apple to perform at the National Orchestra Cup at Lincoln Center. Upon their return, they were honored at the governing board meeting for their performance and received awards. And they also took to the main stage at the Scottsdale Family Arts Fest. And then Coronado administration wanted to thank you for representing art thank their students for representing art in the community so well. Okay, this is Hohokam. They are the Falcons. So the picture on the left is the student-teacher send-off. So these are student teachers who have been working in Hohokam classrooms this year, and they have a graduation ceremony at the school so that the students can see people who they know graduating from college. And this is part of the AVID program, and is one of the ways that they are raising college awareness in their elementary students. The pictures on the right are the All Kids Bike program, which happens through a partnership with the Strider Bike Foundation. So they have a fleet of 24 bikes. The kids go through an 8-week class, and over 80% of their kindergartners can now ride a bike because of this program, and they're working on stopping. Another way that they raise college awareness, so they call it the AVID College Showcase. So each grade level researched a college, created a short presentation based on their research, and then the students rotated through the different schoolhouses to view what the kids put together. This happened in late January, and so you can see the upper left is they researched ASU, bottom left is GCU, and then the video screen over there is U of A. Okay, Yavapai Thunderbirds. They had an amazing year. These pictures, they had an outdoor field day. Did I give myself? No, I didn't give myself. Okay, so they had I think it's their first annual outdoor field day. The top right picture are Thunderbirds who are being honored for good behavior. Bottom left is they had these are Coronado students who are coming and working with the Yavapai elementary kids. And then the bottom right is the Parada del Sol. They won a grant for Lowe's to refurbish their library. So the upper left-hand pictures are the partnership with Lowe's working on the library. The upper right picture is the 30th annual Turkey Trot, which is still alive. Bottom left are students who were recognized for academic success in the classroom, and then the bottom right pictures are a bike to school day, and they had excellent participation with the bike to school day. Okay, Redfield, they couldn't be here today. Okay, so Redfield had a Read Under the Stars event for 5th grade. They had a readathon rewards dance party outside. They had a game truck for that. They had a family arts night. And then the kindergartners raised ducks and chicks this year. Okay, Kiva has a video, which I'm going to go ahead and get. Oh no, what? Okay, that is super sad because it is spectacular. I'll see if I can load it out anyway elsewhere. But their principal wanted to highlight they have an academically strong community school that targets all learners. They are whole child centered, and they pride themselves on community and parent involvement. They in their students, they build a passion and enjoyment for learning so that all of them can be successful later in life, and they have a robust, comprehensive gifted program. Susan, you want to talk about, where'd she go? Yeah, okay. All right, oh, she did have to leave. Okay, all right, so Saguaro High School. Okay, good. All right, because I'm about to wing it. These are the pictures, so keep these in mind, and then the highlights are the 4 A's, so academics, arts, athletics, and atmosphere. They have they are STEM certified and accredited. They have the Scottsdale Math and Science Academy. They have the Innovation Center, nationally recognized performing fine arts and athletics. They have dual language immersion learning community, VEX and FRC robotics team. They have a wide array of CTE programs, including nursing, biotechnology. They have a freshman mentor program, dual enrollment and advanced placement classes, over 60 clubs, and positive behavior interventions and support school.
Susan said she had to leave, but she asked me if I'd read something. Can you please mention that we have several new families in SUSD who are asylum seekers and are in need of home items, etc. Laura Race, does anybody know who Laura Race is? Okay. I should know that. Laura Race would be the contact. Many of these families literally walked here from Valenzuela and they chose Scottsdale. So if you have anything available, please contact the community specialist at Saguaro.
They come literally just a couple of paper bags or plastic bags.
So I can get in touch with Susan and post something on SBC social media about how to help. I'm really sad about the Kiva video because I watched it. It was great. So they have like a desert parade where kids are dressed as cactuses. They had a snowball fight it was a sunny day, but still probably December. Anyway, it is an amazing video. I'll see if I can find it and run it as we're finishing up the meeting. But okay, so our final school is Scottsdale Online Learning. This picture, so the kindergarten and first grade students got together for an end of year celebration in Zuni Park. And Principal Noonan wanted to thank parents for supporting their young learners through an exceptional school year, and Mrs. Earlbaum for having a beautiful year of educational excellence. So I think she's the kindergarten and first grade teacher. And then he also included, these are older students, I think probably high school, and these are like letters that they sent their teachers as feedback. And so I'll just leave those on the screen for you to look at. But they both had a really wonderful time with Scottsdale Online Learning. Okay, so that is the end of our presentation. We have some quick updates, and then we'll say have a great summer. So I'd like to announce our executive board for next year. I will be on the microphone again next school year. Our treasurer will be Kirsten Markson. Secretary, we're going to have Brian King and Catherine Gibson together. Our vice president of school reps is Laura Pallas. Outreach is Laura Wieshoff. You guys can wave. Vice President of Programming is Andrea Augustine. Advocacy is Brian Novak, and Vice President of Communications will be Brad Doyle. Get ready to clap again, because I'd like to thank the election committee. They're the ones they took care of all of this, soliciting nominations, getting bios and everything from candidates, and then running voting, and anyway, and it went seamlessly because of Samantha Oliver, who is the chair. But I'd also like to thank Denise Gonzalez, Susie Ning, Audrey Iffert Salim, Susan Hughes, and Bryn DeFusco. Okay, we have our final budget update of the year. We have our recurring email expense that's a monthly charge, and then the only new thing is we renewed our liability insurance, which was in the upper Okay, so this is something that we shared on our social media recently, but the city of Scottsdale is having heat relief centers and also hydration centers that are going to be open for the summer, and they're in desperate need, like they're using the word desperate, of bottled water donations. And so I put this up here because it does a nice job of listing everywhere that you can drop off the bottled water donations. So the Granite Reef Senior Center, Via Linda, Vista del Camino, Paiute Neighborhood Center, Appaloosa Library, all the libraries, Appaloosa, Arabian Civic Center, and Mustang. So if you want to help out the community, this is a great way. And if you can also help get the word out on this. Any announcements? Probably not. Okay, we don't have any committee updates. They're all kind of ending the school year. And thank you so much for attending this meeting and any other meetings that you attended this year. I hope you have a wonderful summer, and we'll see you next year.